synchronous session to be recorded. Okay, so good afternoon, programmers. Good afternoon, future programmers of LCC. So for today, we're gonna be learning uh, loop structures, methods, and array. So to start with, we last time we discussed about the uh, fundamentals of Java, as well as we were able to discuss few control structures. This time we're going to be discussing again, as I've told you, loop structures, methods, and arrays. Okay, so now let's start with, so another is, I guess, yeah. Okay, so this time we'll create a new class. Let's say for an instance, we are going to name it loop structure. All right, so but before that, let's get to review last time now. So we have it here. I discussed about these different types of selection structures, like we have single if, two-way, multiple if, multiple statement or compound statement, and nested if. So the other control structure is actually a switch statement. So we're gonna be discussing switch statements later on, and also when it comes to, there is this what we call conditional statement or ternary operator. So before we'll move on to loop, by the way, I'll need to discuss this one to you. This is when we talk about ternary operators, this is going to be using the this operators. No? So this is like an if-else statement in which it will give us a one-liner statement instead of using if and else. So let's say for an instance, let's say we are going to accept a number from the user, and we are going to determine if it's odd or even. So let's say we are going to assign the num by 23 or something like that. And then we do that using if conditions, like if num modulus to 2 is equal to 0, this would actually uh, this is actually an even number, or a num is actually an even number. So that's it, no? And then we do else statement, or shall we say, since this is just a single statement, we can just write that this one as something like this one. So add number. And of course, if we wanna include another, like a condition in which, just wait for a while. So you have since any number, like for an instance, if you enter 0 to as the value of num, so this would display if 0 as even number. But in the mathematics, no, or rule in mathematics, especially in the sa Cartesian plane, 0 is not an even number nor an odd number. So we should include in our condition to also error trap that possible na number that is going to be entered by the user. So with this, since any number is, when you divide it by 2, like 0 is divided by 2 is still is 0, that's why 0 is treated or considered as even number. So in mathematics, it's not. So we'll need to do if num is equal to 0, and then this is now we could now display or tell our user that num is an origin or 0 number. Okay, so otherwise, if not even or it's not 0, we could have some this in our condition here. So we use nested if to determine whether a number is even or odd. So it's if it's not 0, or it's not origin, so it will what they call this one, go to this block of statements which says that when a number is divided by 2 and the remainder is 0, even number. So let's try it out. Yeah, so 0 is an origin. If we put 23 or 23 there, it will give us add number. So this is not what I am actually trying to discuss to you this time. This one, no, ternary operator. So when we talk about ternary operator, we are just going to, it's just an activator, no, kanya akong gibuhat. We are going to convert this into ternary operator. So in here, right here in our program, we can actually convert this into ternary operator. So with that, we can say something like hold is equal to, so every statement after the question mark and with the colon uh, are said to be the consequences. Okay, so it's like true and false. So let's say for an instance, this one, num modulus to 2 is equal to 0. Sorry. Okay, wait for a while. And then we display num is an origin or something like pwede na wala num, no? Later na, sa gawas na nato ibutang. Ano, add even rather. So we have here add number. Okay, so with this, we can now simply put the hold statement, the hold variable here inside of our system.out.println line. So as you can see, this would not, this is not the same. I mean, probably the way we provide a solution for the above problem like this one doesn't have any origin yet. Okay, because later on we're gonna be converting it into something like it's doing the same this one with this one. So for now, what I would like you to do to understand is that when you use this ternary operator, anything that is after this question mark is the true statement, or when this expression is evaluated to true. Otherwise, this statement will be statement will be executed, not executed, but it is actually passed to the holder variable, which is hold. So meaning to say, when a number is divided by 2, and if it is equal to 0, so say let's say 23, is 23 divided by 2 equal to 0? The result of this one, when you divide 23 by 2, is not actually 0, it's actually 1. Therefore, it's false. So that this is the true, this is the false block. So when it is false, then therefore this add statement here will be passed through hold. Okay? Otherwise, kung true siya, like for an instance, 4, 4 is, when you divide 4 by 2, the remainder is 0. That's actually true. Therefore, it will, uh, it will display even. So you can say something like num is, and then we'll have something like is even or is add. Okay? So when we run the program, of course, we have this even number. That's the for if statement, and for our ternary operator, we have here 4 is even. Okay, so let's do the same for let's have other input. Let's say 3. So 3 is an odd number. 3 is odd number. So there, no. Now, what if we are going to enter 0? So in this case, for our if condition, we have here 0 is an origin because we put a condition for that. However, for our ternary operator, we don't include origin as a block of statement inside of our in this statement. So we can actually convert this statement right here into something like doing the same with whatever we type above. Okay, so this time we will do a nested statement for this one. Okay, so basta karon is I would like you to understand that this one is true and this one is false. So if you are going to ask me, sir, is it necessary na string yun na siya dra? It does not necessarily mean na I use string here and hold here. It's always be like that. It depends on you, no? So if you are using integer value here, of course, the value that you will pass is should be integer 2. The same with if you're gonna be using a what they call this one, double or floating point value, then the value that you are going to pass through that value variable should be also either of that value. So meaning dapat compatible sila. As long as klaro imong statement here. So how do we convert this one into parehane? So to start with, of course, you'll need to compare if enum is 0. Okay, unahon na to siya trap kasi when a number is 0, if it is divided by 2, if you get the remainder of that it's always 0. So meaning it could be even. So mathematically it's not. So dapat we should trap the same thing, the same thing no sa atong gibuhat dire. So right here, you will need to the statement na is equal to 0. After that, okay, you just have to uh, put here if it's if num is equal to 0, it is an origin. So is an origin. Okay. Oops. Otherwise, okay, this is the time we are going to use another. It's a another statement or evaluation or expression saying that if num modulus to 2 is equal to 0, so we are going to nest the value in such a way that whenever a number is not 0, it is going to have another expression. So when that expression is evaluated, this would tell us if it's either even or odd. So therefore, pag trap dire when a number is 0, it will be an origin. When it is not 0, it will be evaluated to other else, which is you divide nimo by 2 and then you get the remainder. Okay? So that is why yan, there is our display or output. 0 is an origin. Okay, 0 is an origin. All right, just wait for a while. Hi there. So, do you have questions? Feel free to ask questions. Do you have any questions so far?
Wala, sir.
Wala. Okay, sige na. So, familiar naman guro mo ani, no?
Yes,
Medyo?
sir.
Okay, good.
Medyo, sir.
Medyo. Okay. Sige. Now, let's discuss about loop structures. So, why I discuss this one because in our in OOP, we're gonna be needing all this. We're gonna be uh, parang using all most of this, no, in our OOP, in encapsulating a class. Okay, so this time we'll proceed now with the loop structures. So as we all know, looping is it's a repetition or a it's a repetition or a statement in which statement or statements is going to be repeated multiple number of times based on a certain condition or once a certain condition is met. So again, I know it's not new to you, but we're gonna be reviewing that for the sake of para lang ma-refresh inyong mga brain cells. So in in Java, there are three basic looping structures. Okay, so we have loop, for loop, do while, and for loop. Okay, and then when there is actually the other one which is for each loop. Okay, that's the fourth one, but we can only implement it using array. No? So kumbaga, it's only available or possible when we have array or list structure. So this time we are going to start with the first structure, which is the first looping structure, which is the easiest one, which is while loop. So, ayan. To start with, of course, it is going to start with while, regardless of if naa na siya open and close braces or not, pwede na siya wala, but it would be better if naa. Okay? So right here, the first thing that you will need to understand in a while loop structure is number one, it has to have an initial statement. So the initialization, okay, or initialization or the initial statement is the starting statement, the starting value. So this is what you should read first before proceeding to the next or before proceeding to the while statement. Why? Because this would tell us upon reading our program or any program, no, this would tell us what value should we start counting with. Okay, and then after that is the expression. In the expression, you will have something here, either any relational operators or combination with logical operators, like less than, greater than, or equal, or not equal, or even it will have and or even not operator. So for this time, we're gonna be having a simple expression. So let's say we are just going uh, to to get the total get the sum of the numbers from 1 to 10. Let's say for an instance, we have uh, here. So as you can see in the expression, so in the expression, this is the next thing you will need to observe in a while loop, because this is the I would say this is the ending value. So from here, you will see the pattern already, that it should go with the our loop should start at 1 and it ends at 10. Okay, and it ends at 10. Okay, since this one is equal, great less than or equal, it's going to actually the last value for our num here is actually 11. But if in ana, the last value for our num is 10 and it would end at 9, right? Or to be safe, it would end at 10 because it will be false at 10. So pag kani, it will be end at 11 because it will be false at 11 or when num is 11. All right? So the initialization, the starting value, the expression, or the ending value. So 1 to 10, so that it would be easier for you to read, no? So mga techniques in reading, especially pag na mga debugging or na mga tracing of a program. So this time, what you will need to, let's say we are going to have or to get the, let's say, sum na lang. Okay? And then after that, you will have here the statement saying sum plus equals, let's say, num, no? This is the summation, okay? So after that, this is the process, no? Or the, yeah, this is the summation, which is normally a process or the statement, okay? So next thing you will need to observe also in a while loop is the incrementation or the decrementation, or shall we say the update, okay? The update statement. So in the update statement, either it will be increment or decrement. Of course, you know that, no? So when we talk about increment, no, pasaka, decrement, pababa. Okay? So mailan man animo pag plus plus, that's increment. Decrement pag minus minus na siya. So pag inani gani, incrementation na siya, but incrementation depending on the num value. So it's not constant na 1 siya. Unlike in ani, incrementation siya with a constant value of 1. Okay? So num plus plus, meaning to say the pattern there is it starts at 1 and it ends at 10. So ana. Okay? And then in the middle of the loops, or while as it is actually doing the loop process, it is going to increment by 1. So when it is in when num is or is going to increment by 1, of course, you will have something like 1, 2, 3 until it will become 10, no? So you have already the pattern. And when it is when it is processing, or when it is in the looping process, what it does. So what it does is, aside from it increments the value by 1, it is actually summing up the value of num, which is from 1 to 10, and it is stored to sum. So meaning to say, i-add lang niya ning numbers from 1 to 10. So this is what it happens there, no? So para sa technique in tracing, pwede mo magbutang din kay num, okay? And then of course, the condition, no? Either num is less than or equal to 10. And then you have here the sum. Okay. For now, our sum is actually 0. Okay. So for an instance, we are going to trace our program. So the num starts at 1. Okay. And then, sorry. All right. So when it enters the next second statement, sum. So, iunahon na tong sum. Pwede na to unahon si sum dire. Yeah, so sum is actually 0. Ayan. And then, when it enters the loop, the sum now is, ulahi na lang natong sum para at first sum is 0. Okay, so when it enters this expression, you have here num is less than or equal to 10. The value of num is 1. 1 is less than or equal to 10. That's actually true. So when it is true, the statement will be executed here inside of your while block statements. So we have here line 6 and line 7. Now for line 6, it's going to add the value of num and the sum. What's the value of sum? It's 0. The value of num is 1. Therefore, 0 plus 1 is 1. And then num will increment by 1, and now it becomes 2. So it is 2, and then 2 is still less than or equal to true. Less than or equal to 10 rather, sorry. So when it is still less than 10, it is still true. And then sum is going to be added by the new value of num, which is this time the value of num is 2. So 2 plus the recent value of sum is 1. 2 plus 1 is actually 3. So this is now your new value. Okay, so 2 for num, sum for 3, and num is recent value for num less than or equal to 10 is true, but it doesn't matter because that's just is an expression. Okay, so when your num is 3, because it will increment by 1, once it increments by 1, it's again true. And then the last value for sum is 3, and the value of our num is 3, so therefore 3 plus 3 is going to be 6. So 3 plus 3 is 6. Now you see the pattern. It would be easier for you to trace the program. So like for an instance, next statement or next value for num is 4. It's still true. And then 6 plus 4 is actually 10. And then you do it like, because you have already the pattern, so it would be easier for you to trace even if you don't use your statement, as long as this one is non-changing, no? It's constant na inana siya. Of course, it's constant kasi we don't run it, no? I mean, uh, we are the one who compile it. So kumbaga, it will always be like that ang statement, no? So unless mag-change siya anytime or na ay randomness sa numbers. Okay, but again, so since the pattern is mag-count siya from 1 to 5, so ana lang, no? So that's how you trace. So 6, 7, blah, 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 until moabot siya og 11. So, of course, as the loops keeps on, or as the process keeps on looping the statement, so mag-add lang na siya 10 plus 5, it will be 15, and then 21, 28, so on and so forth. And then until moabot siya og 28. Then what's next? 28 plus 8 is 36, no? 36 plus 9 is 45, and then 45 plus 10 is 55. So when the value of your num is 10, the value of your sum is now 55. Of course, it is going to loop one more time, which is the num now would become 11. So when your num is 11, it will it will become false because num, which is 11, is greater than 10. So 11 is greater than or equal to 10. That's actually false. So leaving us with the last value of num is 11 and the last value of sum is 55. So you can say here, yeah, the sum is, or the sum of 1 to 10 is, okay? So, yeah, the sum of 1 to 10 is 55. So, that's it for while loop statement. And let's have another example. Sige. So, we're going to make this as a, okay. So, what if we are going uh, let's say, increment a num by any number, or let's say something like this one. Let's say we have here num less than or equal to, let's see, 50, and then num plus equals to 2. So this would give us a what, no? So a number is going to increment by 2, not by 1. Okay? So this is similar to num equals num plus 2. So every time mag-loop siya from 1 to 50, the starting value is 1, the ending value is 50. Ang iyahang incrementation is by 2. So meaning 1 plus 2, 3, plus 4, plus 1 plus 2, 3, plus 2, 5, plus 2, 7. So uh, medyo ang iyang pattern is display niya add numbers. So yeah, pwede na to siya i-display. Let's say we start with the first happen. Okay, sige. So this time, we are going to display it to here. So, here, no? So, the value or the output would be from 1 to 40, 49. Okay? So, yan. Add numbers from 1 to 50. You can also do like if statement, no? If na modulus to 2, but it will really take time. So, kasi 50 times mag-loop, tapos mag-if condition pa ka just to display add number, no? But again, you can actually do this just in case na walay giingon na like any specification na i-display lang ang numbers from 1 to 10, add numbers from 1 to 50. So you can do something like this. Now what about i-display nimo siya sa loop sa J option pane? Of course, if you want to display them in the option pane, it would be better if you are going to have a third-party variable. So, and then this third-party variable would be i-concatenate nato ang numbers every time it enters the loop, and then we shall display it in our outside of our loop. Okay? So something like that. So para it will not give you a prompt, no? It will not keep on prompting every once or it enters the loop or inside of the while loop statement. So ipunon sa niya concatenate tanan numbers then before we display them. Unless kung ang ano ninyo is kanto, no? Magbutang siya perminti dira show message dialog, If that's your trip, you can do it, but that's irritating. Okay. Now, what if we are going to take input from the user? So we can do that by, let's say, we have here num is equal to input. So we have here input is equal to 0. We are going to initialize the input by 0. And we want to get the sum of all the numbers entered by the user. And then we will only accept, I mean, 5 lang taman. Sige, kay medyo daghan na kayo kung 10. And then after that, every time the user enters the number, okay, from an input statement, and put it right here. So we have parse. And so, and i-declare na lang natong G option pane. J is equal to new. So this is not, I would not recommend you from doing this kasi static ang G option pane na mga, what they call this one, mga methods. So dili siya need na i-instantiate. But for the purpose na dili kayo taas ang code na to, we can actually do that. Show input dialog, and then we have here. So we have in the, if pag-abot sa OOP man, masabtan ra ninyo na po, no, na why don't we need, or why it's not recommended to instantiate a static method. Okay. So anyway, so to start, we have enter a number. And then for every number that is going to be entered by the user, concatenate na to dire. So this is concatenation, meaning isumpay niya. And then right here, of course, i-ano na to by num plus plus. And of course, we want to get the sum before we sum plus equals to the input. Okay, so as you can see here, we have lots of variables. So the num variable is just a counter variable. So siya lang ang mag-ano sa ato ang statement, no, basis for the looping until 1 to 5. So meaning expected that the program is going to accepts value or loops these statements inside of this while block from 1 to 5. That is perhaps 5 times. So as it loops, the user is going to enter a number, or the program is going to ask a number from the user, and it is going to be assigned in the input. As it keeps on looping, it is also going to concatenate the value of, sorry, this should not be num. So it's going to concatenate the value of the entered number, which is from the input, to hold with separator of space, no, space separated value. And then we have here the sum. It's, since this is an integer value, it's going to add up every time you input a value, or every time the user inputs or enters a value, it will be assigned to input, and then to the it will be added to the sum. Okay, yes, for so you know, the our num is going to increment by 1. And then you have here hold. So we can have something like sum, okay, or say equals. Then if you want to have plus in between, you can have, so the number that is going to be entered, once it is concatenated, it will have 3, example 3, then 4, 3 plus 4, plus 5, plus 7, something like that. So let's try to run our program. Oh no, let's not try, but let's try it. So I mean, let's run it. So let's say we have 2, 9, 7, 8, 10. So there you are, 2 plus 9 plus 7 plus 8 plus 10 plus 5. So don't matter sa plus sign kasi yan, no, medyo na diri maguna to siya ibutang. But if ibutang nato siya diri, mauna pod siya ang plus 2 plus 9. But so it's better that way na lang. So therefore, when you entered this number, or as the user enters this number or numbers, the add or that the sum of all these numbers is going to be 36. Okay, question? You have questions?
Yes, sir.
Sir, pa-accept daw, sir.
Ano? Pardon?
Pa-accept daw, sir.
Accept?
Ay,
Okay.
pa-accept sir ay mosulod.
Sige. Okay, sige. Now, let's say, so can you guys trace or try to trace daw the program? Sige. Try na ko. Maghimo ta og okay. Ang ni siya sa baba. Okay, so I'm going to like create a program. Let's say, sige, num and val na lang. Let's test your ability to trace the program. Ano po yung magpa-add? Mm. Four, three, two. Okay, sige daw. Try to trace the output. Daw. About that one. Sige, I'll give you mga 5 minutes to trace the output. So, kung kasi makatrace, tagaan ako og load via GCash and house and lot ni Barbie. Sige, anyone? Sige, I'll wait. 3, 4. So, 3 times. Yes. Nana? 9? 3? No. Oh, you can use your pen and paper. Then share it to like again, mas okay siya kung isulat niyo sa papel. So try to if you cannot make it like uh by just looking at it, no, ayaw mo kaano na i-trace niyo using pen and paper, and that is going to help you, no, to if you are able to beat the compiler before you run your program, and then you can beat the compiler by no, kana ganing i-beat nimo siya by comparing your output with the output before you run this one. Example, ang output ani is in ani, or let's say number is 9. Tapos pag trace nimo before running them is 9, then you're able to beat the compiler. Not as fast as compiler, but at least, no, you're able to parang align your knowledge in such a way that uh, almost this I mean in such a way that the same mo sa compiler in terms of tracing the program. And did you know what, that is one of the things you can do, kasi most of the actually programming, 90% of the programming is actually tracing, no. uh, in programming, it's not always you just type the codes. So it's something like what I'm trying to elaborate is that when you are writing a program, it should be coding, not writing. Kasi when you write, you just write the codes. When you code, okay, it's writing and at the same time thinking what you write. Okay? So there's this big difference between writing and coding. Kasi pag magsulat lang ka, you just write the code. But when you code, you are actually thinking at the same time writing. So as you are writing the program, you know what you are writing. So that's actually coding. And 90% of the programming is actually it's actually tracing and coding. No? So yeah. So based on experience, that's I do most of the time. So I give reasons why the output is this one. I give reasons why it's not running. I give also reasons why it's running. So that's when you know that you are until such time now that you are able to sharpen your skills in terms of sa programming. No. So tracing is one of the most important skills in programming because it takes reading before knowing how to write. So yeah, what's the output? So anyone? Oh, sige, atong i-trace together ha. Sige. So if uh, I want you guys to, uh, look at how we trace. Okay? So actually mas okay siya kung pasaka unta but medyo maglisod magud ko dire. So the way actually I train myself in tracing is pasaka dapat ang iyahang ano. So which is nasa top ang last value. So in this case, paano na lang pa left to right. So let's say for an instance, we have the num as the value, but actually num is not used there frequently in our program. It's not going to update its value. So it's just used all throughout the loop process, but it's not being updated. So tanaw na to itong mga gi-update na mga values. Ang na-update na mga values are val and hold. No? So maulang duha val and hold. So in here, the val is actually 4, no, at first. So when val is 4, it's is it greater than 0? Yes, that's true. Okay. When val is 4, it is when val is 0, it is greater than 0. That's true. So therefore, we have here the statement hold times equals num. What's the value of hold? The value of hold at first is 1. Okay? When it is multiplied to the value of num, which is 3, it's the value of hold now will be 3. Okay? And then the val is going to decrement by the value, by its value by 1. So this time, the val would become 3. Okay? When it is 3, it is still true because it is still greater than 0. So when it is greater than 0, you go to then at the ninth statement, and then in the ninth in the statement here, where in the particularly at line 9, the hold is going to multiply it by the value of num. So what's the value of hold? 3. And then the value of num is 3. Therefore, 3 times 3 is actually, so 3 times 3 is actually 9. All right? So this time, 4 is, or the value, sorry, the value of val will be 2 now. So not 2 now. Okay, the value of val now is 2 because it in decrement by the by 1. So 2 is still greater than 0. That's true. The value of hold is actually 9, and the value of num is actually 3. Still 3. Now it does not change its value. So when it is multiplied, the value of hold now will become 27. So this time, when the value of val is decremented by 1, it becomes, of course, it becomes 1. Then it is still greater than 0. And then after that, you are going to multiply the value of 7 by 3. And that makes what? 27 times 3 is, hello,
81.
very good,
81, sir.
81. Very good, 81. And then when val is, so don't stop sa loop, although obviously mag-stop na siya, pero ato pang i-decrement ang value by 0. So 0 greater than 0, that's actually false. So meaning it will stop from there, and the last value of hold is 81. So let's run there. So the last value of hold is 81. So, unsay ginabuhat sa program? Ang ginabuhat sa program is actually power of a number. So, kikuha niya ang uh, power of a number, or this is actually 3 raised to the power of val, which is 3 raised to the power of 4. This is similar to math.pow. No? 3 val. Only that, syempre, ang math.pow is double value ang i-return na. Sorry. This is num. Okay? So, what happened? Ay, okay. Kasi val is now, unahon sa nato ni siya display dito. Kasi val is now, I'm sorry, I didn't see that coming. Because the value of val is now 0. So, kasi pag abot diri 0 na ang value ni val, dapat dirita. So the value is yan, 81.0. It's similar to math.pow built-in method. So let's say increase ni siya to anything like 8. Let's see if consistent ba to ang algorithm. So that's it. It's the same. Okay. Okay, let's try one more. So I'm gonna be putting this one to here. Okay, and then okay, so this time I will have here num. Let's say 23. Okay. Wait. Okay. Sige, kana. How about kana daw? Sige, i-trace po na ako. Wait. Sige. Okay. Okay. Sige, kana. How about this one? Sa kaya output ana. So sa maka-trace, tagaan ako og 10111. Okay, billing, billing, billing. Jean Lawrence billing. Hello? Jean, na-doubt yung mic. Sige. So, yes, it is expected that the output of this one is actually binary digits. Okay? Because it's right here, no? So, because of this one, it is going to concatenate every value of num when it is divided to 2 and it gets the remainder, it will be concatenated to str. So let's see if tama ang iyahang. Yeah, sige. Okay, very good. So let's see kung tama ang sequence of uh, display ni Jean, no, or ni billing. Okay, so i-trace na to by, okay, first is, very good. So we have here the value of num and the value of str. Okay, and then, so let's start with the value of num by 23. So when the num is 23, that is still greater than 0. That's true. Therefore, what it does is it's going to uh, divide the num by 2. So what's 23 divided by 2? That's actually 1, tama? When you divide number by 23 by 2, and the remainder is actually 1. So, therefore, the display will be, or the first value of str will be 1. So, actually, inani ang iyahang something like pag-concatenate ana. So, which is actually 1. Okay? So, na-string naman siya. Na-convert into string. Okay, next. I'm sorry. So next is the num is going to be divided by 2. So pwede na to i-calculate dire. The new value of num, sige, tama, okay na na. So actually, i-divide na to ang 23 by 2. When you divide 23 by 2, that's actually 11. No, not 11.5, but it's 11. So why 11, sir? Kasi it's integer division. So the output, the value of the value of num is now 11 unless nagbutang kog 2.0. It will be 11.5. Okay, but since integer division siya, okay, so it's going to be 11. So 11 is greater than 0. That's true, right? So when it is true, the 11 is now going to be divided by 2. That's actually 5. Okay? And then, ang remainder atong kwaon, that's 10. 11 minus 1, that's 1. So, bungkig yapon siya. It's actually it returns the 1, no? So, this time, in your value here, 1 should be, so, though, tanaw nimo siya, asa dapat masumpay? Is it in before 1 or after 1? Kasi dili nato ma-distinguish kasi pareho sila 1. So, dapat, kay base sa ato ang concatenation, it's before 1. So, meaning, ang ang value is sila ni. So, 1, something like that, which is equal to 1, 1. Okay? Alright? That's it. So, the one that doesn't have any string string delimiter, it means this is the value. Muna siya. The one with the string delimiter is the right side. Okay, so yan. But since this is a string, anything that is added to string or concatenated to string is always a string, especially in Java. No? All right, so when you divide 11 by 2, that's actually 5. So it's supposed to be 5.5, but still integer division siya, that's why 5. Okay, and then we have here 5 modulus to 2. Okay, so 5 modulus to 2 is still 1. So 1 plus 1, 1 is now going to be 1, 1, 1. Okay, so this time, what's next? 5 divided by 2, that's actually 2. Okay, so 2 is greater than 0, that's true. Therefore, okay, when you divide or get the remainder of 2 by 2, that's actually 0. So 0 plus the last value of STR, which is 1, is equal to 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. Okay, when you divide 2 by 2, that's 1. Okay, that's still true. Therefore, what will happen then? So 1 modulus to 2 is actually 1. So therefore, 1 plus 0, sorry, this should be 0, something like a string. So 0, 1, 1, 1. That is 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. And then, when you divide 1 by 2, that's actually 0. So, is 0 greater or num is greater than 0? That's false. Therefore, mag-stop ang loop. The output would be 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. So, let's try. So, that's 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. Very good, Mr. Billing. You will receive 30 pesos load from me later on. So, give me your number and then a sorry, babae day ka, sorry. Jean, kaya pala Jean, no? Lawrence Manggod. Okay, you will receive a 30 million pesos worth of GCash load plus house and lot ni Barbie later on. Okay? Wow! It's a girl. Okay, so I loved it, no? Babae ang naka-trace sa atong program or sa output. Very good. So, babae, boys, what happened to you? So, ayan. What did you do, Billing? Imo lang gimata-mata or imong gi-code or imong nagamit kag papel? Just be honest. It doesn't matter. Okay. Sorry, key-code niya. Kaya pala. Alright. Wala sa unta 'to. Anyway, so kaya pala as quick as that, no? So, 1001. Sige. Sige na lang, no? You will receive, but I thought you tried it in like, 'di ba I told you when you ako class, I mean, for my recommendation for you or suggestion, I mean, this is a friendly ano lang reminder. If you are going to write a program, especially if once nag-start pa lang tag-learn sa programming, mas okay kung i-trace nato siya before nato siya i-run, and then compare your output to the output of uh, parang compare your output to your paper tracing ba, i-compare ninyo sa program ninyo. Anyway, okay, that's good. So this time we're done with the loop, while loop. So by the way, dali raman na sa for loop, no, kay ato ara man ni siyang i-change into for loop. So if i-change nato ni atong mga gipang buhat last time into for loop, so we could have an amazing world. Joke lang. So let's say for an instance, kantong first nato na output, first program nato is kani. So i-convert nato into while loop. Of course, you just have to, okay, imo lang ning i-remove dire. Okay. No, so remove lang na nimo siya diha, and then butang nimong while dira sa baba. Okay? Same as true with here. Stop nimo siya i-convert into do. Okay. I mean, do while. Just have to put it there as like, so. Ana, mo naman na ilang difference, no? I mean, one of the also differences of do while and do while, aside from it's just an inverted, ang while, no, it's just parang inverted lang sila. So ang do na nasa taas, then while sa baba, is while is actually pre-condition, no, or pre-test condition, while do while is post-test condition. What do you mean by that, sir? Mura na siya og kanang SIM card nato ba? Di ba natay prepaid and postpaid? So if we say prepaid ka or prepaid imong SIM card, okay, you can send messages if magpa-load ka. That's prepaid. No, you cannot send messages, you cannot access the online something if wala kay load. So kailangan magpa-load ka before you can actually before you can uh, before nimo maano ang service, no? So that's prepaid. So pag postpaid ka, okay, use all you can, use all you want, then saka pa ka magbayad. So mo na mga postpaid plan. Okay? So pwede ka magamit ka internet as pila ka data, pila ka gig, mag-call ka, and then maabot imuhang billing, mao na imong bayaran. So that's postpaid. So that is while and do while. So and that it can be, there are actually a lot of parang real world scenarios diri sa atua, like if like when you are going to ride a jeep, no, or tricycle. So mostly ang iyahang structure or iyahang algo ana is uh, postpaid, no? So musakay sa ka bago ka mobayad. But it depends to you, no? Nay usahay mobayad sa kadaan, mag-negotiate bago ka magsakay. But most likely sakay sa, and then pag maabot na ka, dool na ka sa inyong ano, so saka pa kang bayad. Or something like sa karinderya, no? So sa mga karinderya, kaunsa ka before ka mo bayad. Pwede pod na bayad sa ka bago sa for fast food like Jollibee, McDo, postpaid siya. Okay? Prepaid siya, sorry. Prepaid because you will need to pay your meal, no? So kato imong gi-order, to pay for your order before you can actually eat your meal. So inana sa fast food. Pero sa mga karinderya or sa mga gagmay nga karinderya, kaon sa ka before ka mo before ka mo
Bayad.
bayad. Or ang uban di jud mo bayad.
Murag, kabalo ka na, sir ba?
Ala,
Murag,
kabalo
murag
sila.
burden.
Karelate, no? Manghugas ng plato. Or
Late, sir, ay. Mandala, mga kutsara, sir.
na mandala pa jud ko sana. Ay, sorry guys. Sorry. Wait for a while, sorry. Sa iluwa inyong mayor ha, nagpaboto na. Pasko naman good. I'm really sorry but I I'm sorry for that, no? Recorded biya, pero bahala na sila. Depende na sila ha. Anyway, di bitaw ni makatakod kayo. There's no such thing as online transmission man, no? Okay, yon going back, prepaid, postpaid. Mao lang may difference. Sige, pakitaan ta mo og difference nila ha. So, sa do while ug while the only thing na difference nilang duha is para makita jud ninyo siya na why there is while, why there is do while. Sige, I'm gonna show you a sample like in while for an instance, no? You have here, say, ang imong ano is num, or say we have here int num is equal to 1, and then ang condition nimo is let's say num is less than 1. So with that, if that is your condition using while, using while, so tendency is dili na siya kasulod sa statement, no? Kay mag-false naman siya directly dire. So that's why that's prepaid or pre-test condition, no, or precondition. So ano sa no i-evaluate sa niya ang expression before ma-evaluate siya into false or true, saka pa kung true saka pa niya i-execute niya statement. If false, dili na niya i-execute niya statement. Now that's for while. So here, since mag-true siya agad, dili na niya i-execute here. Okay? So this is one of the differences of while and do while. For do while naman, no matter magbutang pa kadri og num plus plus. For do while naman, sige, ira na to ni. This will not give you anything. So, girana na ko na, wala dyan siya ni output. Oh. Yan. So, let's say for an instance, ato i-display diri si num. Ang last value ni num is actually 1. So, pag abot 3, 1 lang yapon na siya. Okay? Darao, 1. Pag i-convert nato ni siya into do while, ayan. So, wala tayo gi-change, only that i-convert nato siya into do while. You will see that the output is 1 and 2. Yan. Because before pa i-evaluate either true or false ang condition, i-execute sa niya ning nasa kanina statement. So meaning, do while guarantees, mo yung timanan, guarantees to execute at least once. Kasi before pa niya i-compare kung true ba siya or false. Pero si while jud is kailangan i-evaluate niya true or false, kung dili pwede. So murag kung wala dili ka ka-enter di ka sakay og plane at airplane kung wala kay ticket, no? So inana ang ang while loop. Okay, ang do while pwede ka musakay sa bago ka magbayad. Sama sa kung giingon kadto kung magsakay mo jeep, sakay sa mog jeep bago mo mubayad. Normally pag munaog na ta saka pa ta mubayad, di ba? Or ang uban di jud mubayad kay mag 1 2 3. Pero kuan na ha? Dili na siya pwede. Tik-atik na asa naman to kung wallet nawala man.
Dili pwedeng masakpan, sir.
Maupod. Okay, dili pwede masakpan. Okay. So yeah, that's it, no, for do while and while. So there's not much na difference only that the structure. Anyway, they are all the same, the goals are the same. It only happens na lahi lang ang ilahang structure, lahi ilang syntax. Now, for for loop, of course, kabalo naman ta ana, no? So, for loop, everything, the initialization, the expression, as well as the increment is going to be in the, what they call this one, in the one block. So, void f. Para lang i-ano gamay. So, for loop, you can have an amazing world bitaw, joke lang. So you have here, let's say, na x na lang. X is equal to 1, x is less than or equal to 10, x plus plus, right? Then display ni mo diri imuhang sis, oh, where are you? Yan. Then num, something like that. So the initialization is here. Sorry, x din eh. So the initialization is part of the for block with the expression and with the increment. So, pwede ra pod na siya, actually, pwede na nimo siya dili ibutang sa, like sa gawas nimo siya ibutang, okay? It doesn't matter as long as nagbutang ka diri og terminator, meaning wala ni siya isulod diri, no? So, meaning i-follow gyapon yan ni diri. Okay? So, pwede pod na instead of kaning x is nasa diha, pwede ra pod na nimo siya ibutang dira. Okay? So, with making it mura gyapon siya while loop or do while loop. Okay? So that's the behavior of for loop. Okay. What else? Aside from that, pwede nimo na siya you can do like this one, no? Pwede ka mag-sum is equal to 0 and then you have here sum as equals to num, something like that. So, anong num man eh? X na anad anon kog num. And then you can you will print the what happened? You will print the x there and then we'll print the sum here. And that's it. Because sum is butang na nato si sum. Then initialize nato si sum right here. So yeah, because that's the problem. Because sum is locally declared inside of this block, no? So that is why we cannot call sum, si Uncle Sam, dili na tumatawag outside of for loop. So might as well, pinaka-okay nga itong button is int x and sum. Ayan. Okay. So, set. And then, sum. Okay? So, kaya lang is that, yeah, because na-appeal ang equals. And so much more, no? What happened? X is 1 plus the value of x 0. So, dili siya mag-55. It's only 54. Kasi nag-increment na siya before pa siya gi-add. So, mas, kung gusto mo, ayan. So, ayan, no? That's why I told you you really would like to practice your tracing skills. Kasi, like, sa akong ginabuhat karon while I'm writing it, no? While I'm writing the program, wala pa na ako giran pero ma-trace na nako unsa ang possible output, no? I can anticipate, though dili siya perfect na mao ang output, but I can anticipate already the possible output of my program wherein I can work around, no? And bisan asa pa na siya ibali-bali nako siya na code. So I'm not doing trial and error there because I write what I read and I read what I write. Okay? Yeah, so that's what we call coding, no? Okay, so I guess we're done with these looping structures. Now let's continue to still loop yapon ta, but this time we are going to focus on the different structure of loops, no? Parang end of file. Have you are you familiar with that already? Counter controlled, sentinel controlled, flag controlled, and end of file loop. Are you familiar with that?
Wala, sir.
Are you sure? Wala mo kadungog pa na or nakadungog na mo ana?
Ay, ang end of time, mura lang, sir.
Murag nakadungog lang. Okay, sige. Sige, discuss ta about counter controlled loop. Okay pa? Kaya pa? Kaya pa man kaya? Maminaw?
Ano pa, sir?
Kaya pa maminaw?
Yes, sir.
Kaya ba?
Okay. Okay ra man ka, di ba ka mo na board? Dahan ka mo na learn. Kay kung wa mo dagan na learn, di mag-stop ta. Sige. Walay ni. Sige. So good thing billing padayon lang og oh, yes sir, naka-encounter naman di ay. So di na lang ako na siya i-discuss. Ka-encounter naman.
Wala ko, Mr. Roy.
Sige, go over. Wala pa. Ang uban wala. Ang uban naka-encounter. Naka-encounter na mo, nakalimot na siguro mo.
Na-review na
So,
lang, sir.
review nato gamay. So, when we, kani sila, mga loops gyapon ni. However, panganlan lang nato ang construct sa atong loop. No, para natay meta language. Okay, when we talk about counter-controlled loop, actually, we have been using it even before sa atong ginapag earlier lang, no? So, the entry is known actually. Example, we have here, this is the counter controlled, let's say 10, and then you have here the while. Pwede sa do while, pwede sa for loop nimo ni siya i-apply. Let's say, then you have here the num. So this CTR is your counter controlled loop, no? Kaning CTR. And then we have here num1. So let's say we have num is less than or equal to 10. Yan. So this one is the counter controlled loop. This is the way our loop will actually going to be based on this, meaning ang control sa atong loop is based on the value of CTR. So pwede siya input from the user, of course, no? Like for an instance, so loops lang gyapon siya. However, again, mga different ways ni of what they call this one, constructing your for loop. So let's say for an instance, mga ita sa user og input. Let's say how many loop or how many times or something, how many loop yang i-count or what's the max value or something like that. And then after that, it will base on the value of CTR. Okay? And then let's say the num is this is our controlled loop. This is our counter controlled loop. So this is our the num is the incremental value, no? So atong CTR or the CTR is the controlled loop or counter controlled loop. So let's say mga tag input from the user, you can have yan. So okay, and then this is like input. Okay, and then you will ask the user to input a value. So that's it, no? So this is an example of counter controlled loop. So the entry is known, counter controlled loop meaning the entry is known to the user or to the program. So there is clear definition of when the loop should stop. So meaning, klaro siya kung karon sa mag-stop ang loop. Mag-stop ang loop based on pila ang unsay i-enter sa user. So naa siya range of value kung kano sa siya mag-stop. Kung enter si user og 5, ka 5 lang siya mag-loop. Kung enter siya 10, ka 10 siya mag-loop. So that is for counter controlled loop. So example, this one is an example. So let's say for an instance, we are going to to ask the user to guess the value or mag-guess daw taog input. So let's say we have here the uh, hidden na lang, hidden number. So let's say hidden number is 69. And then mag-stop siya if encounter niya ang hidden number. So example, we have if input is equal to hidden, okay, and then break. And then you say something like, congratulations, you guess the hidden. So otherwise, else, okay, try again. Try again. Or pwede na ito ibutang diri siya. So, sa input, or input na siya, ingon kag try again. Pwede ra, no? Anything you like. Pwede ra siya inana. And then, yeah, so that's it. That's for, so let's say 2. So this time, clear siya na parang you have only 10 attempts. Parang nakay number of attempts kung pila ang i-enter ni mo sa imong ano. So you have like input value, or let's say butang kag attempt, parang sa number. Yan. Okay. So how many loop, let's say how many times or how many tries, let's say 5. So attempt 1, 12, try again, 45, attempt 2, 64, try again, 24, try again, let's say 69. Yan, you guess the hidden number. So that's an example of counter controlled loop. So ang kaning hidden or something, ako lang nang gitry pa. This is for you to ano lang na there are actually many ways or different ways to actually solve, parang guessing, parang mga guessing tawag na guessing game. Ayan. So this is counter controlled loop. So let's now have another loop construct, which is Sentinel controlled loop. So in Sentinel controlled loop, there is this what we call Sentinel value. Okay, so the Sentinel value is what is going to make the loop to stop executing, no, or from execution. So example, ato lang ni siyang i-copy from here, and then okay, copy lang nato na siya. So this time it's not going to be how many loop anymore, because you have here the hidden number is 69, and then you are going to input as a guess, and then this time, sorry, the hidden is, okay, ako na lang ilahi niya. The hidden is what the sentinel is, or we call it the sentinel value. Hidden is the sentinel value. Once ma-encounter ni sa program ang value ni hidden, mag-stop ang loop. So to do that, so kung sa counter controlled loop, ang gamito ninyo should be greater than, no? So less than or equal, greater than or equal or less than. So sa sentinel controlled loop naman is not equal. So let's say for an instance, while input is not equal to hidden. So, until dili daw equal si input kay hidden, then you can keep on asking the user to enter a value. Yan. So, pwede tag attempt, no? If you want, no? Let's say, attempt. So, this one, it does not guarantee kung kanus mahuman ang loop. So, pwede siya na infinite, but it's not actually infinite. Pwede siya indefinite na lang. Okay? So, pero dili infinite. Indefinite in such a way na it will end at certain time or at certain point, pero until ang hidden na value is going to be guessed or ma-enter ni user. Okay? So, here, no, we have attempt input a value, and then once mag-stop siya dira, or once wala na siya na sana show, pwede ta mo ingon na you guess. So meaning mahuman lang ni nga loop diri pag magputang siya og kapag mag-guess na niya. So you guess the hidden number. Ayan. So that's it. Okay. Ayan. So example lang, gitagaan ka guessing game sa imuhang gipanguyaban. Pag mag-guess nimo iyang number, sugton kaniya, pero pag dili, di kanya sugton. Okay? So example, so you have here 2, yan, 4, ay wala dito attempt, no? So wait lang, 69, no? Attempt na to should be pagbutang tag attempt. Yeah, pwede ta mag 0 dire, and then attempt plus, sorry, attempt plus plus, or asin gusto ninyo pwede ra po dire attempt plus plus. Okay, and then yan, so yan, so attempt plus attempt 1 12, attempt 2 45. So pwede na until indefinite ni siya, no? Dili walay pwede siya dili mag-end until mag-guess nimo ang value. So yeah, that's for Sentinel controlled loop. Pwede na dili siya mag-stop. Okay, and then yeah, by the way, pwede niyo ni siya butangan og another mga condition, like if you want 3 attempts lang or 5 attempts lang, pwede ka mag-if condition kung ang attempt niya is up to 3 lang. So you can actually say if attempt is equal to 3 or less than or something like that. Or pwede pod na yung partner Andre og attempt less than or equal to 3. So this time ato ang condition na duha ka buok expressions. If kagna niya with 3 attempts, or yan. So nakabutang lang you guess the hidden number, but nag-stop lang to siya because wala na kay attempt. So actually pwede nimo na siya ibutang dire like i-condition here na if attempt, or pwede ra pod sa loop, no? Depende na sa inyong structure. So if attempt is, let's say, equal to 3, and then you run out of attempt. So parang ano na nato ni. But again, this is some of the few solutions na pwede ninyo buhaton. So let's say you run out of attempt. And then else, you guess the hidden number. So meaning kung nag-stop ang loop with ang attempt na wala naabot og 3, so meaning you guess the hidden number. Pero nag-stop ang loop na ang attempt na abot og 3, meaning run out of attempt ka. Okay, so try na to ha. 34, 67, 34, you guess, wait, what happened? If attempt is equal to 3, Mhm. Probably, wait. Attempt 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, parang i-greater than na lang na to. Greater than or equal to 3. Try na to. Okay, balik. So, we have 12 kasi parang mag-4 ang attempt eh. Ang value sa 4. Yan, you run out of attempt. That's it, no? If na guess ni mo siya within the ano, so oops, what happened? What happened? Attempt is input is hidden. You guess the hidden number. If attempt is atong i-display na lang natong attempt diri. Don't you worry, atong ibutang ang attempt diri. So, para ma-trace na to unsay nahitabo sa attempt nganong atong program is wala naga-output og yeah. So 4 ang attempt, so meaning 4 is greater than 3. So dapat you run out of attempt. So dapat di ni dan. So i-try na to na mas guess niya with more than for more mag-guess niya within the attempts. So 3. So you guess the hidden number. Yeah, that's it, no? So let's try again. So 19, 34, 90. So you run out of attempt. That's it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Pwede mo nag-out, sir? Magpatambal pa mo, sir.
Uy, sana all ako gani kung nagpatambal.
Ay, tama rin, sir, no? Pero marita, sir.
Mm. Sige lang,
Okay
hapit
na, sir.
lang. Layo pa man
Ay,
dahil, no?
hapit na, sir.
Wala pa. Layo pa jud ay.
Ay,
Sige lang. Okay ra, okay ra.
okay na, sir.
Mm.
Patambal mo, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
No
Okay
problem.
na, sir.
Mm.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, next is sige, humanon ato na lang ni paspasan. So you have here Sentinel controlled loop, the other one is flag controlled loop. So for the flag controlled loop, sige lang, if dili siya ma-appeal sa discussion, ako na lang i-record. And then, anyway, magyapon mo nang nagpangutana. So mag-record na lang ko, kaya mura, magyapon ko mag-record, ani kayo may pangutana gyapon. So for counter controlled loop, it's actually similar to Sentinel controlled loop. However, you use a Boolean value. No? So, mo lang man yung timan-an na Boolean. So, example, Boolean found is equal to false. So meaning wala pa niya nakita, wala nakitaan ang unsa na. So the hidden gapon is 69. Okay? But this time instead of kanitong buhaton is while not found. So until wala niya nakitaan, so dili siya wala siya na-guess. Ana lang siya, no? So example, ibutan na to. So mura gyapon siya og sentinel controlled loop, only that ang gamit nimo is boolean. Okay? And then magbutang lang kag if condition dire para mag if found or if found. If input is equal to guess, hidden di ay sorry. And found is equal to true. So meaning nakita na if found is equal to true, pwede na to ni ibutang diri na lang. And then yeah, you can do this by something like that. So try na to. So we have 12, 45, 67, 40, 34. What if 69? So you guess the hidden number. So that's it, no? That is for counter controlled flag controlled loop. You use Boolean operation. So pwede niyo to i-apply itong atong gibuhat last ganina, no? For attempt or whatsoever. Now, you can apply, pwede ta mag-apply og, let's say, mga randomness, no? So, sa itong random diri sa ano, random, and then you have here RND. So this time mo takabalo unsa ang gi-output or unsa ang pwede na to i-display unsay hidden. So this time we don't know unsa ang or patay perting ta dako ano lang 10 plus 1 ta or 10 times 1 di daw eh. Okay? Or try sa nato iyang randomization kung mag-randomize ba jud. So, ayan. So, mas okay 10, 10 plus 1. Para dili apil ang 0. Sige, try sa nato. 3, 1, 5, 3, 4. So, there's no point na ma-apil ang 0 as sa value. Ayan. So, you can do such game, no? Or guessing game. Saan yung stop? Kaya wala tayo system.exit. Yeah, you can do such game pag gusto nimo na kay like mga randomization or so pwede nimo ano ang user like higher, lower, lower, higher pwede na. Okay? So ayan. So let's play a game daw. Okay, let's play a game. Using our program, mag-play ta og game. So wala na tay attempt. Sige, attempt. Butang na tog attempt. If input is equal to hidden, if input is less than hidden, if input ay less than hidden, higher. Tama, no? Else if so, else if input is greater than, kung mas dako siya sa hidden, lower. Tapos, kung equal, true. Okay, so dili na to i-display ang hidden. So sa makatag na, tagaan ako og load kasi makatag na. Okay? So participate. Hidden ang numbers na i-guess is up to 100. 1 to 100. O, sige. Alright, so guessing game starts now. Okay, what sa man na number inyong i-guess?
19, sir.
19. Lower. Hala. Lower
10,
daw.
sir.
10?
10.
Sige, 10. Higher.
12, sir.
12. Higher.
16, sir.
Hapit na ni sakpan ron. 16. Lower.
15.
14, sir.
14. Okay, 14. Tanaw to. Higher. Okay. So, wala na ilain kundi sila nasa sa naman 16, no? Nasa 15 or 6, 17. Man 16, di ba? Oops, stop sa.
Yes, sir.
So, found is true. Nakita na to niya. Wala na ako nabutangan. Og, ayan. Okay. How'd mo man dakop da? So, you guess. Congratulations. Sige, kani, final na daw. Pilo na tong uban. Asa tong uban? So, mga tao rin. Sige, papilo na to ni sila ha. Okay. So, start ta with Navarrete. Sige. Okay. Patrayo na to sila para may lang maganahan po sila mag-play-play. So, this time, abot na to 150 para or 200,000. Okay. Sige, start ta with Sige, Navarrete. Navarrete, what's your guess? What's your number? Sige, wala man sila. Di na mag, ano sila, sige, kinsa man. Ha?
33, sir.
33. Higher daw. Sige, who else? Kinsa pa gusto?
95.
95. Sige, basta kinsay makatagna. Ay lang, balik-balik ka. 95. Unsa to? Unsa itong 95? Higher. O, higher pa daw. So, higher than 95.
150, sir.
115? 150.
Okay na, sir.
150. Lower. Kasi na nag-chat. 130 ug 120, 130, 125. See, 130, higher. Okay, 125, higher. Okay, dili daw.
140, sir.
140, lower. Punta na, 1,147? 147, lower. Oh, girls. Asan ang girls?
135, sir.
135, higher.
138.
138, higher pa daw.
139.
Diba, 143. Try na to. 143. Lower.
139, sir.
140.
Ansa? Kisa tong babae?
141, sir.
141. Lower.
139, sir.
139, sir.
139. Congratulations. Okay, kisa man to. Nagtunga man. Kamong manduha nakatagna. O sige, kuhaan lang ako niyang mga names ninyo later on. Okay, so that is just a simple parang guessing game. Sige, this time, take inyo. Congratulations. So, thank you for participating. So you won bubot courtesy of NCCC Supermarket. Sige. So this time, last na lang, okay? We have here end of file loop. End of file loop. Ang end of file loop is kailangan na itong file handling. Okay? So, this time, maghimo ta og file. Okay? And right click and create a file. Let's say numbers.txt. Okay, and then sa file nato ubutang taog random numbers. Sige, butang nato 20, 34, 67, 89, 90, 13, 56, 1, 19, 2, 3, 4, 2, 7, 9, 65, 50. Yan. So example kana ato ang i-read from there, no? So let's say int nam sige, int nam mo ni ang pangbasa, pang read, and then natay pang counter, and then we'll have while. So this time kailangan na tuog file reader. So you have here, so we'll need pwede na to i-chain si scanner o si file reader. So i-chain na lang nato siya. By the way, if you don't want to chain, pwede na ni file reader. Okay, let's say fread equals to new file reader, and then sa matoy pangalan sa tong text file. So we have numbers.txt. Okay? And then if you don't want to chain, pwede ka maghimog scanner read equals new scanner. Where are you? Tapos ibutang nimo dito si fread. Okay? Pero pwede nimo siya like instead of inanion mo siya, pwede mo i-chain into something like new, pwede mo siya inanion. Instead of mag-declare pa kag file reader, pwede na kadiretso ana. Okay? So while read that has next, so kailangan lang nato ni throws or try and catch. So this time i-throw lang nato ang exception. So throws exception. So import lang nato ni dinawala. Okay? So this time you have here if you want to read the numbers, you can use next line. So when you say next line, by the way, this is mao na ning end of file. Now i-read niya tong file nato dire until the end of the file. So like 13, 12, 18, 25, 32. So mag-stop ang loop. Okay, mag-stop ang loop until ma-read na niya the entire line. So meaning pag mahurot na niya og read next line. Okay? So example, read next line. So butang ta diri og counter para mailhan nato kung kapila siya kapila nag ano atong loop. Okay. So we have here str is to 0. Okay, wait. Okay, ano na lang ctr or start with 1 and then sorry. Line plus ctr. Yan. So you can have here, line 1, 20, line 2, 13, blah, 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 line 3, and then line 4. Yan, no? So, because you use next line, so meaning the entire line, no matter pila pa dito, basta entire per line ang pagkabasa. If if you will use next, okay? Pag next means every after space. So, kani isa ka next, isa ka next, isa ka next, kani next, next. So, mo na siya ang per next, no? So, ang next line, entire line. Ang next per number every after space. Okay, so example, we have here, yan. So, kung napansin mo, dili siya by line. Line lang akong nabutang, pero di siya by line. So, first niyang na-read, 1. So, next niya, okay, dili na lang by line, next na lang. So, para makita niyo. So, next, first niya nabasa is 20, next 34, next 67, 89. So, gibasa niya ni per value. That's the difference between next and next line. Okay? So, now, what if i-read nato siya if you want to read the value by you want to look for something there no sa ato ang value, let's say naatay 69 dira. Once ma-encounter niya ang 69, mag-stop ang loop. Okay, so pwede ta mag ano dire og num equals to read that next. Okay, and then if num equals to, let's say ang hidden number nimo is let's say na daw kay ginapangita na value, let's say hidden, and ang hidden nimo is 69. So if ma-recognize niya ang value na 69, okay, so we could display something here, num is found at, okay, pwede nimo is ctr times found at, sige, ano na lang, loop CTR. Parang kumpila. Loop 54 times mga ginana. Sige, try na to. Yeah, so 69 is found at loop 14 times. Ika 14 times niya nakitaan si 69 something. Okay? So that's how you do, or for gusto ka mag-manipulate ng mga records, store lang nimo siya. So right here, pwede nimo siya i-read as string, pwede mo siya i-read as integer. If you want na string siya, of course, ay mong gamiton dili next dapat. Okay? Next or next line for string, next double, next float for decimal point. Kung string siya, string dapat imong holder, next or next line dapat. Okay? All right, so kana lang sa siguro for now. And kinsa ka ito ganina si Jean ganina, since stop na tabi. So since si Jean ganina nakadaog naman siya ganina